Doubles and coffee. The irony doesn't escape me that Faris Taipans Al-Rawi of the PNM is trying to make allegations against me, the Douglas Anil, about breaching confidentiality and data protection and a breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act when I brought out information showing PNM corruption, nepotism, the sickness of the PNM, that it even makes sense to fellow CARICOM leaders, in this case, Ralph Gonzalez and his family. Faris Ala Taipans Ala take picture in mirror with 3 men in a gym, coming to say that Anil Roberts may have breached the Integrity in Public Life Act. This from a clown who recused himself from cabinet over 100 times because his family and people close to him were benefiting from decisions taken by his cabinet, by his PNM cabinet. This man, Faris Al-Rawi, under so much investigation, the police tired. The police need a payment for overtime. This man who breached the doctrine of separation of powers. Not only was he the AG who thwarted and did not give the DPP's office any sort of resources. The DPP complained that the office was running at 39% of its capacity for lawyers and so on because of the starving of the allocation from this Faris Al-Rawi PNM government. And then he went to sign an indemnity agreement with a witness in a criminal matter, usurping the constitutional authority of a sitting DPP. He talking about breaching. This clown Faris Al-Rawi, who told a chairman and instructed a chairman of CPEP, who then disseminated information to the CEO based on the CEO's affidavit and statement, and another witness who was a board member of the PNM. He confused, lied, obfuscated, concocted that cabinet had agreed to the extension of all CPEP contractors till 2029, committing the government and the taxpayers of this country to $1.4 billion under fraudulent circumstances. This clown Faris Al-Rawi was the Attorney General, and in the Jack Warner case, they can't find the specificity agreement anywhere, and statements made in court under oath that it existed. This Faris Al-Rawi, who his company that he created, who owned his building, then he came out in his family building by Zaman, some company called Zaman Alexander Tree, received 6 years. 6 years of fraudulent rent, 6 years of commercial rate rent, and the building is residential. 6 years of paying residential water and electricity rates while receiving commercial rental from the PNM, and the same government that he sat in talking about he recused is accusing me of breaching something. Boy, Faris, go in your bed and lie down, boy. Go and sleep. But you can't sleep because your pajama pants and all must be too tight, strangling your circulation to your brain. Anyway, on this issue, which the PNM has been trying to say, there is no issue because the Victoria Keys HDC housing units were put on the open market. Let me tell you something. Open market does not include rent to own. The daughter of the Prime Minister, Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of 25 years of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, received a unit at Victoria Keys on what PNM is saying. Well, it's open market, no big thing, so it don't matter. It don't matter that how much Trinis want and so on. This was just to sell and to make money so that we could build more houses for the poor and the underprivileged. Okay, PNM. Okay, Penny. Then explain how Soleil Gonzalez, the daughter of Ralph Gonzalez, got a rent to own property on Victoria Keys and has not bought it yet, has not paid for it yet, owes the taxpayers $1.3 million TT. Well, for a place that is valued at $2 million. And then, furthermore, that she now has 10 years living at rent, peppercorn rent of $2,750 per month in a gated, exclusive community with pool and so on, and what bourgeois thing that would normally go for 9,000-10,000 a month. She get, because Damian Lider reminded me that it was not on 30th of April 2025 that the agreement began. He say, Anil, look carefully, boy, you're reading through too fast. The rent-to-own began in 2020. So the PNM, after losing election, extended the gift to Soleil Gonzalez, daughter of Ralph Gonzalez, for another 10 years. So she don't have to pay back the country, pay back the taxpayers till 2030, $1.3 million. By 2030, that place might have a value of $3.5 million. Oh, what a gift. How is that open market? And if it was open market, did the people of Trinidad and Tobago have that opportunity to take part in this lease to own, rent to own, open market scenario? I know of tens of thousands of people who are lining up open market for anything. And in this Victoria case, at least 150 people have told me, boy, I had my savings, I had my application, I was in there hoping to buy a unit, to pay for it, down payment, and a mortgage that they could get because they're business people, professionals, young, upwardly mobile people, and they couldn't get it. But Soleil Gonzalez, daughter of Ralph Gonzalez, and from all the information coming out, come me, no, I didn't care about Ralph Gonzalez, I don't care about he. I in my politics in Trinidad and Tobago, the only reason I jump at he is he jump at my prime minister, jump at my country, jump at my leader, and attacking her in the most vile manner. But I find out that he, six-star general, the big boss, that he and his family real wealthy, boy. Them have real estate renting to Maduro. Them have mansion all over the place. All kind of fancy speedboat to drive fast in the water and pick up gear and thing. Them like a storm in a teacup with money all over the place. Rental place all over the place. In the airport, if you want to go and buy alcohol, you want to go and buy food, coffee, it's them leasing and owning and renting and making money. So these are wealthy people. A prime minister, okay. Then why Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez did you not pay for the house to the people of Trinidad and Tobago for your daughter Soleil? Why did you not pay the taxpayers $1.3 million? Because with the policy of the HDC to provide housing for the poor and those who need a roof over their heads, $1.3 million could build 3 houses at $400,000. 3 houses for families of 5-6 people, parents with children and so on who have no house right now. Why you didn't pay Trinidad and Tobago the money, Ralph Gonzalez? Ralph Gonzalez, ain't you have money? And you're telling me about your, oh God, your white banking account. I see bank account with 418,000 US in the Bahamas. Me, I know if people know about that. But last time I checked, 418,000 US by 7 is nearly 3 million TT. But you owe the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the taxpayers and the people 1.3. Ralph, why you didn't pay? Why you not paying we? Why you have this rent-to-own thing and your daughter taking rent-to-own up till 2030 April? Nah, man, Ralph. Pay back Trinidad and Tobago the money now. Send the check. 1.3 million since it's open market. And to Penelope Beckles, before you defend wrongdoing, you must read, you must research, and you must have facts. Let me read something for you. I just came up on my feed. The test that ends the debate. An opinion, right? An article written by a Mr. Jonathan Marks. I don't know Jonathan Marks, but I read this, and it provides clarity for everybody. Because Anel is a UNC, and I defended my prime minister and my country, so I bias. Ralph, in an election, they say, and he fighting to be a 6-star general. Okay, so let me listen to somebody who would analyze it calmly so everybody could understand the situation. Jonathan Marks reads, there has been much debate in Trinidad and Tobago about the rent-to-own house obtained by Soleil Gonzalez, daughter of Prime Minister Ralph E. Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The new UNC government has said she benefited from preferential treatment under the former PNM administration. The Gonzalez family and their supporters insist the property was acquired on the open market, but it is important to understand what rent-to-own actually is, who it is designed for, and why the claim that such a unit was sitting on an open market shelf waiting for anyone to purchase, cannot withstand even the slightest scrutiny. Rent to own is not a commercial real estate transaction. It is not something you simply walk in off the street and purchase like a condominium or a townhouse in a private development. Typically, rent to own exists because thousands of people cannot access a bank mortgage. They do not meet income thresholds, do not have the required down payment, cannot pass strict credit checks or earn their living in ways the banking sector does. The banking sector does not recognize as stable or secure. Rent to own is a deliberate pathway for low to middle income earners who are shut out of the conventional mortgage market. It exists as a bridge for people who cannot afford a home otherwise. Because of this, government rent-to-own schemes all over the world are inherently selective. They are discriminatory in favor of the vulnerable. The government carries the upfront costs of the construction and the beneficiary pays a reduced monthly amount while gradually building equity. That reduced payment is the clearest evidence of the nature of the program. It is a subsidy. It is state assistance. It is not market rate purchase. In this case, Senator Anil Roberts, a government housing minister, has stated that the ordinary market rental value of the unit in question will be closer to $10,000 per month. Yet, the reported rent-to-own payment is TT $2,750. That alone ends the argument. A 70% reduction is not a commercial bargain. It is a government-supported pathway into home ownership. And here is where the open market defense collapses completely. If a home in a secure gated development with a real market value 3 or 4 times higher was truly available to anyone for $2,750 a month, ownership included at the end, do we seriously believe that Trinidadians and Tobagonians would ignore it? Do we believe that in a country where rent is high, mortgages are hard to qualify for, salaries are stretched, and cost of living is high, people would simply let such an opportunity pass them by? That is not believable. That is not reasonable. It is not grounded in reality. There are more than 214,000 Trinidadians and Tobagonians, says Roberts, on the HDC waiting list. Some have waited 10, 20, even 30 years for affordable housing. They have endured cramped rentals, unstable living arrangements, high rent prices, and the emotional and financial strain that comes with uncertainty. If rent-to-own were truly available on an open first-come, first-served basis, one of those 214,000 long-suffering citizens, many of whom applied long before Soleil Gonzalez, would have seized the opportunity long ago. And this raises the question that no one defending this arrangement has been able to answer. How did Soleil Gonzalez beat out 214,000 citizens? How, if the unit was truly on the open market and accessible to anyone, then how did she manage to leapfrog over every single other citizen who has spent decades hoping for the very chance she received? The answer is obvious, and it does not support the idea of an open, transparent, first-come, first-served basis process. It supports the opposite. That is why the insistence that the unit was obtained on the open market rings hollow. It is a contradiction. Rent-to-own is not designed for people with access to financing or strong incomes. It is designed specifically for those who cannot withstand the pressures of the open market. That is its purpose. That is its nature. That is the truth and center of this controversy. Ralph Gonzalez, pay the people of Trinidad and Tobago back we money. Pay we 1.3 million. We need it. We need the money to build houses for poor people, for single mothers, for the vulnerable, for those people who need houses and a roof over their head. You might have 43 roof, Ralph Gonzalez. You're cranny and you're greedy. Pay Trinidad and Tobago we money. Okay, Ralph? Simple. Bless.